Good morning, everyone. Shavua Tov. What a beautiful Shabbos we had yesterday. We had a lovely bar mitzvah for David Brook, and so many people showed up in shul, and we celebrated together. And of course, yesterday was the longest Torah portion of the year. And the rabbis tell us because the moment we come out of Shavuot, getting the Torah, we want to take the longest one. We want to delve in. We want to show that we embrace it. And the rabbis give this story about this kid who goes with his dad to a wedding, and he sees the bride in a beautiful gown, but then all the guys are wearing tuxes, and he says, "Who's the groom? I see who the bride is. Who's the groom?" And the dad smiles at him and says, "You know who the groom is? The guy who takes the bride home at the end of the night." The rabbi said that's the metaphor with the Torah. We got the Torah on Shavuot, but the question is, the one who's the real bride, who marries the Torah, who connects to the Torah, who's connected to God, is the one that takes it home and studies it and celebrates it the whole year. But one of the things we read yesterday is the most famous 3 words which I spoke about in Shul, which is the blessing of Birchat Kohanim, which we give the children. Some give it every Friday night, some just before Yom Kippur, and we say it in temple on the holidays. But the blessing is very interesting because we have many blessings that we say, Asher Kedishanu v'mitzvotav etzivanu, but this blessing just says one word, that God told us to bless the Jewish people, ba'ahava, with love. And the question is, what does it mean with love? Every mitzvah is supposed to be done with love. Why specifically this one? And the rabbis give a twofold answer, which is very powerful. The rabbis say, firstly, bi'ava means that the Kohen has to give the blessing with love, because true blessings are only when they come from the heart, from love, from joy. So we imply and implore the Kohen, levarech atam yisrael bi'ava. If you're not blessing with love, the blessing won't count. It needs to be love. But there's even more beautiful interpretation that the rabbis tell us, that the blessing is that the blessing of Birchat Kohanim is praying and telling the Jewish people, you want to have all these blessings, ba'ava, through love of one each other, through the unity of the Jewish people, through each and every one of us embracing our differences, embracing our uniqueness, and celebrating who we are as a Jewish people. That's the only way to get the blessing, of guarding, and of course of peace. Because ultimately, when we're united, when we have that strength, then we're able to receive the blessing. So the Kohen says, "Levarech et am Yisrael ba'ava." I'm giving this blessing with love, but more importantly, I'm imploring you to be in love with each other, the Jewish people, to have the unity that we so desperately need. But there's something else. You know, when the Kohanim give the blessing, if you've ever been in shul, you see they lift their hands like this, both hands, and they spread it out. And the question is why? And one of the most beautiful answers is because it's not enough to bless someone. Blessings are lovely, but you need to do something. You need to lift your hands and make a dent in the challenge that people have. You could see a poor person that's hungry, and you're blessed that they should have food. That's not going to satisfy their stomach. That's not going to help them avoid hunger. You need to lift your hands and do something. So the Kohanim's message is, I'm giving you a message to have love for each other, and God should bless you with love. But I'm lifting my hands to do something about it, to do something about the unity of the Jewish people, to do something about caring and loving someone else. And it's such an important message every Friday when we lift our hands and we bless the kids, if that's your custom, or even before Yom Kippur or in shul, to explain and to ingrain in our children that idea that we have to love each other and we have to do something about the love. That's the bottom line. You know, it's been a crazy week. We see what's going on. There's a Gaza flotilla with Greta Thunberg, the biggest hypocrite, who says that she's standing for environmental issues, but yet in the last year and a half she dropped it all to spew hate and to fight Israel, the only democracy in the Middle East, who's the only one who actually has environmental policies to protect the environment, unlike the rest of the Middle East. Israel is the most eco-friendly place, but she doesn't care about the environment. She doesn't care about climate. She cares about herself and her cronies. And you know what we saw? We saw something else similar. We're watching in horror what's going on in LA. People throwing stones at officers and the fighting that's going on. And guess what happened? No one's surprised. But the Palestinian freedom fighters, so to speak, with those Palestinian flags, those who terrorize Jews on a day-to-day basis, have joined those fights. Because ultimately, these people hate America, they hate the Jewish people, they hate Israel. And a country that allows anti-Semitism, we've seen throughout history, every country that allowed anti-Semitism to fester failed and didn't succeed. And the same is, heaven forbid, true here. If America doesn't eradicate the anti-Semitism that's festering within us, when the FBI has to give a warning on Friday to Jews and Israelis in America, the bastion of freedom and tolerance, the bastion of love, the place where Jews have prospered for hundreds of years, that we have to be extra careful because there's people that want to hurt and kill Jews and Israelis. It's a wake-up call to America. Either we wake up and we see what's going on here. Nobody here cares about Palestine. Nobody here cares about the Gazans. It's a farce. They care only about hating Jews. In fact, yesterday I was reading in the Wall Street Journal this article about this family, a couple who from Saudi Arabia moved to Syria, and they were abducted and arrested by the Syrian regime in, I think, 1918. And they were never heard of again. 2 parents and 4 children. And they found the parents were killed, but they're searching for their children. It's a traumatic article about this family from Saudi Arabia searching for their children that were abducted against their will for no reason in Syria by a ruthless regime. And the article says there's over 100,000 people that were abducted and that are not accounted for till today. Where are all these people? In LA, in New York, on the flotilla, Greta, whatever her name is, where are they all? Quiet. If there's 100,000 Syrian children missing, go out there, help them find them. You say you care about life, you care about people, but it's all a facade, it's a fake. And what we have to remember as Jews is that the answer is one. Live Jewish, have Jewish children, and love each other. Love each other with love, and to do something about it, to unite us as one. Am Yisrael Chai. Have a great day. Enjoy this beautiful